Hey, what's up? I'm going to be helping with doing a LinkedIn review. We're going to go through a bunch of points. I'm excited to help the Salesforce community. I mean, LinkedIn is a huge platform, obviously, but we want to be talking about landing your first Salesforce position or your second Salesforce position. So that's what this video is going to be encompassing. I'm going to stay on point and try not to rabbit trail too much. I have an outline. I'll be switching between this screen and this screen. But we'll be going to go through these points. I'm going to try to be very concise and not rabbit trail, but there's about 15 points that I want to make. So I'm going to have this piece copied and pasted into the description of the YouTube link, just like most people do. And so you can skip to a different section. You're going to be a tech person, so be technical and just take the initiative and find the pieces that you want. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. So without further ado, first one is acknowledgement and housekeeping. It can be tricky to transform your LinkedIn because you might have your current employer who's watching it, and there's a strategy to that. There's a strategy to everything in life. There's a strategy where you could say, I'm going to create a different LinkedIn and craft that for Salesforce so I can exit myself and leave that one sitting where it's at. A lot of different ways you could do it, but I just want to acknowledge that sometimes people, I'll give advice. I've given a lot of advice over the years, the 2 years of me doing Salesforce and transforming my life. I've given a lot of advice to people and said like, hey, here's the low hanging fruit for your LinkedIn, tuning it up to make it for a Salesforce position. And some people take the advice, some people don't, and I don't take it personally. So that's what I also wanted to say. Take what you want, leave the rest. If you do a couple things, that's fine. But ultimately, you want your LinkedIn to be crafted for Salesforce. You want it to be screaming Salesforce, and you want it to be a lead magnet. You want recruiters reaching out to you, and you want it to be like there's no doubt this person loves Salesforce and is committed to the platform, right? So the last thing on point number one is continue to view your LinkedIn as a recruiter or first-time impression. So as you look at it, just continue to comb through. Today, we're going to be looking at mine. So we're going to tear mine apart, and that's okay, because I want to give you guys real examples and real tangible, quantifiable things you can look at to be like, oh, like this is how Andrew crafted this, and this is what he means by it. So we're going to be looking at mine, but continue to look at your LinkedIn as like you've never seen it before. You're coming through like a new connection and you're looking at it critically, or you're looking at it as a recruiter, because that will continue to help you to tune it up and proofread it and see if things sit correctly, see if it's got an eyesore, all that. So that's that. Number two, starting from the top and going through mine. So this is the tab I want to show you guys. We're going to be living on here together. This is my LinkedIn, logged in as me. So there's going to be certain things that it says private to you. Only I can see this part. But we're going to be going through it. We're going to be going from the top to the bottom. And we're just going to do a quick scroll through down. And then literally we're going to go point by point, just piece by piece. It's going to take as long as it takes. But I'm going to try to talk quickly on certain things and then slow my roll for other things that are more important or highlighted. But, we're just looking at mine today. And at the very end, then I'm going to show you like 4 different LinkedIn profiles that are for Salesforce that are crafted very well. I look up to those people, those 4 individuals, and you can just glean from them too. But right now, this is us, and we're just going to pan through all of me. Okay, so just keep it going through here. Again, this is logged in as me, so there'll be certain things that other people can't see if they were to look at mine today. If you did a screen share, or if you have a second screen as I do, that's why I'm looking like this, then you can pull up my LinkedIn right now and look at it as we're going through it. But we're just going to pan through all the way, and then we're going to pick it apart. Okay. Thank you. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Yep. Continuing on, and then it ends with causes. Okay. All right. So back to the top. Okay. So 1 year from now, mine will be much stronger. And I definitely believe that if you're growing in this field, becoming a tech person, becoming an IT person, Salesforce, that whole family of people, it's like 1 year from now, you should be like exponentially better, And so 1 year from now, I know that my LinkedIn will look a lot better. But today serves the purpose of helping people tune up, people that might be creating a LinkedIn account for the first time, people that have not touched theirs in 5 years, 10 years. I didn't. I created mine in 2006, I think. And then in April of 2021, that's when I heard about Salesforce, and bada boom, bada bing. Here I am 1 year into the game right now as a paid Salesforce professional. So, um, color schemes. The other thing I wanted to say is that it does make a difference for me. It's like, as you can see, a background filter, um, the banner, and then also the points, the bullet points for my jobs, like the job description stuff. It's like I kind of was going with blue, purples. Okay, it just makes a difference. It feeds the subconscious. So that concludes point number 2. Point number 3 is the URL. Okay, so now we're going to start digging in and literally from the top. So this URL up here, it's customizable. I think it's within this little pencil that you can edit it. But again, I'm going to not dig into everything. I want you to be resourceful and get after it. But there's a way to edit this. So literally from the top of your LinkedIn profile, it's like you want to say something about Salesforce, Andrew Cotton, Salesforce. And that's super important that as we conclude our time, I'm going to show you my resume that is just like a one-pager PDF file. And it's like I have a hyperlink for that. So it's like you want it to be clean. And when you spin up a new LinkedIn, it's going to have this garbage data, Andrew Cotton 593178 whatever niner. So clean that up. It's very easy. A lot of the great names you're maybe thinking of right now might already be taken. So play with it. If you can get the word Salesforce in there or Andrew Force or something like that, like get creative, look at other people's. The URL will help you. Okay, and that's considered a low-hanging fruit because you don't have to dig around and find a banner. Number 2, yep, going to go right. Well, it's point number 4, but banner. We should do this at least 3 times to make sure it fits and sits correctly. Okay, so your banner right here, it's like this is from Talent Stacker. I'm a Talent Stacker, part of the career development program from Bradley Rice. Yeah, and I'm proud to be a Talent Stacker. So that's where I got my banner. But within Salesforce, you can find so much stuff. So Google image it. You can find other people's. You can be bold and say like, "Hey, I like your banner. Can you send it to me?" Like I've done that 3 times with people as I build a relationship. That's not the first message you send to people, but get a banner and make sure it fits correctly. So when you are going to throw it on there, just allocate some time to be like, this might take 3 times, might take 5 tries to like, I don't like that. Let's taper it more. Let's fit it. Let's make sure it's not stretched. Let's make sure it sits correctly. If you're going for a tech position, then please make sure these easy, quick things don't imply that you cut corners or you don't really care about details. Okay? All right. So find a banner, be bold in asking other colleagues. So super badges and certifications, Salesforce, like this is an editable 3 bullet point here. I wanted mine to be more bland. I didn't want to say 15 years in healthcare service. I don't do that. I didn't have that, but I want it to be more like enthusiastic communicator and writer. And then like I am optimistic and bent on productivity. And so yeah, those are customizable things. Drop that image there, drop that image there, and then 3 certifications. If you just have super badges, put super badges on there. Whatever your claim to fame is, your greatest accomplishment for that at this moment is a good time to get those icons, get them to sit correctly, trial and error it, ask a colleague, log in as a friend, whatever, like make sure it looks good. Okay. I think I'm belaboring the point. So let's move on. The last thing I want to say though is don't make it too busy. You don't want 19 things up here, and also make sure it's mobile friendly. So when you log in on your phone, you should absolutely make sure that you have the LinkedIn app on your phone. Like that's my big brother. But yeah, it's like my phone, my text, and then LinkedIn, like right there. Like that is that important to me. So make sure that it's sitting correctly. Got it. Move on. Profile picture. Make sure that it's clean, in focus, professional for an IT job. There's a lot of thoughts behind that. Some people want a filter behind them that shows like, a clipboard and like, a little green plant and like it looks like a nice clean environment to do Salesforce work. That's a filter. You can put that on there. If you want to have your laptop or your Apple computer like sitting there, that's cool. Do your thing. For me, my personal preference is something that's clean, concise, zoomed in enough where you can see your face, but like it's clear. You also want to keep in mind that like as you comment and like things and put out other posts, like your icon becomes a thumbnail. Your profile picture becomes a thumbnail. And so it's like you don't want it to be like there's a car in the background and you're out of focus and you're over here. It's like You want it to be pleasing to the eyes, because LinkedIn obviously is all about networking, and you're going to meet a lot of people just from you commenting and building out your network. So profile picture, make sure it looks great. It's the first time they see your face, so make sure that you appear approachable and smile. People like that kind of stuff. Um, Intentional on what's in the background. Again, I already said that, but sometimes I'll see all this busyness. Like there's a car in the background. I'm like, what is that? A church or cathedral? Are you in a parking lot? Like, what's going on here? So take it with a grain of salt. Take what you want, leave the rest. Um, yeah, it'll be a thumbnail for other LinkedIn entity things. Okay, number 6, title, right here. This guy. This guy's important. You don't want to put the word aspiring. Just go ahead and own it. If I acknowledge that some people it's intimidating to jump into this type of thing. So if you want to put aspiring for 4 days and then take off aspiring, that's fine. There's a strategy for you. But you want it to be Salesforce administrator, Salesforce developer, and then these little bars right here are very common. I see those in places. And as I look at other people's LinkedIn, I say, oh, I do like that part of the title. I might customize that into mine, but put the word book connoisseur in there. That's a newer one for me. And I wanted to say AI early adopter because Chat GPT and Einstein GPT is really cool. And so let's learn about all that stuff. But this title is important. And one of the main reasons I want to say it is because when you comment on people or people find out about you, that's the first thing that they see. And there's a cutoff. So it's like, it's not going to say all this. It's going to say Andrew Cotton strategist and then COMM. I think that's where it cuts off for me when I comment on people. And other people are like, who is this Andrew Cotton guy? It's like, it's there. So make sure that those first initial lines are sitting correctly and they convey what you want. Okay. Title, beware of the cut. Never put aspiring there. Significance when networking. Number 7, creator mode on. Okay. Now this is great. I always recommend this. It's what enables this part right here talks about, and obviously you want that to be geared towards Salesforce. You want your LinkedIn to be screaming Salesforce. Like if people click into it, or like you're in the interview process and like the COs are like looking at your profile, it's like you want to be like, I like this guy. I trust him. He seems approachable. Like he's got a great smile. But what I want to say is that this right here, you want to be screaming Salesforce. So it talks about trust. Trust is Salesforce's number one. What's the word? Not priority. Their number one. Thing. So yeah, trust, Salesforce, snowboarding, determination, and Salesforce admins. In my personal opinion, you can have one of those 5 to be like not Salesforcey. Snowboarding is my 1 out of the 5. But creator mode enables you to do that. You want it to be like that helps the algorithms. It helps your profile sit correctly. It looks great. But it also enables this little microphone right here. And what it does is you can go into mine and click it. I'm not going to click it right now, but you have like approximately 10-second blurb of like, hey, like this is how to pronounce my name. And that's really the purpose of it. But why not leverage it for you to get into the Salesforce ecosystem? So for me, it'll say like, hi, my name's Andrew Cotton, a Salesforce administrator at Everstream, and I'm happy to make connections. Send me a message. So it's like, it's welcoming, it's like that's the first time they could hear your voice too. So that's the first time they see your face, first time they hear your voice. And if you do have a name that like, even if you put it into Google Translate or Google Pronunciate, like you're like, I'm not sure how to say this name. Like you should put that on there and just and pronounce your name real clearly and like real warmly, and then say a little extra thing. So that's that. Okay, let's move on. Number 8, featured article. We're going to scroll down now. You also want it to be, this is Greater Cleveland, Ohio. I don't live in Cleveland. I live in Greater Cleveland, but nobody knows where other parts of Cleveland is. They just know where Cleveland is. So be intentional about that. 500 plus connections. Please get your LinkedIn profile over 500 connections if it's not there. Accept colleagues, high school friends, college friends, your current coworkers right now. Like there's a strategy to it. Maybe not invite everybody, but look in your list. If you have anybody pending, just accept it because that helps the algorithms. You don't want to have like a weak profile. So there's that. And the followers is another byproduct of having creator mode on. Okay, let's move on. So featured articles. Now, this is what I want to say. is that any certifications you have, you need to make it a feature. If you're an admin and you don't have anything featured, then it's like you need to do that. That's another low hanging fruit that you need to screenshot or get like a capture of the certification. We're going to look at this one right now, the certification picture, but it's kind of industry standard to put this onto your LinkedIn as a featured, because it's like you are wanting to be Salesforce, right? So make it a feature. So yeah, it becomes a carousel, and then you'll see by other people's strong profiles that I'll show at the end. And I'm just going to reference them, and we're not going to dig in through all those people, but you'll see that they have featured articles, and it's like it's the highlight of what they're doing. It's obviously it's a feature. So um, we're gonna dig into this one for a second. It's like you want to mention people that helped you. This person's a rock star. This person's a rock star, and you want to have hashtags at the bottom. This one's really simple because I've been in the game for a little bit. I try to put a little bit of funkiness in there, and then lots of likes and comments. And as you post it, this is 101 on making a feature post for a second. It's like when you post it, it's like it when people put a comment on it. And then respond back accordingly and mention them in the commenting. It's like this is LinkedIn, so it's like it's time to make it great, and do your networking and be intentional and just continue to cultivate what you're trying to do. Let's look at my admin cert associate, ranger status. Those are good things to make feature posts. We're going to get there. From app builder, associate, dev org, administrator. This is what I want to show you. This is super important because if you're trying to get into the ecosystem, it's like your admin certification post, as my cousin Dale Cotton said, it's like it needs to be obnoxiously long and you need to have an obnoxious amount of hashtags at the bottom. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 11-ish. I don't know. But it's like you need to have that certification screaming Salesforce. Okay. And look, like 470 people like put some type of reaction onto it. Like that helps the algorithms. People, it's all about the algorithms. That's how the recruiters find you. So, you want to mention people: Bradley Rice, Zach Bremer, Alex Warnicki again. She is just a rock star. I look up to her a lot. But yeah, in the Talent Stacker Career Development Program, you just have that all built out and have emojis and have it broken up so that it's like pleasing to the eyes. You don't want it to be 7 bricks of just words. Human nature doesn't do that. That's why they write newspapers the way they do. So do that. Have a ton of hashtags. This is a great example of a featured article that will help you get into the Salesforce ecosystem. Okay, let's move on. So bring that back. I think featured article is good. Also, the last thing I want to say on that is consider duplicating those posts to your other social media. So my LinkedIn, my Instagram and my Facebook, they have a similar thing. I'm not super aggressive on that, but I just want my communities to know that's like Andrew's being a Salesforce guy. That's what he does now. Like, we can contact him and other organic things come out of that, but it's like you already have the pictures, you already have the script. So it's like you just tweak some things and then just put it out there too. So that is featured articles. Number 8 says activity, post weekly. And there's lots of thoughts behind that. There's lots of people that have lots to say on the concept of continuously posting, like content creators like Ike. It's like he posts like twice a week or twice a day. And that's great. But that's not my objective. So I try to post weekly. Keyword try, but I'm more active on like commenting on people. I don't want to you don't want to, in your activity, you don't want to just be liking things. You want to be commenting on them, congratulating people, cheering them on, encouraging people, celebrating them, thanking people, and like when you're doing that, mention them in the comments also, and repost things. So I want to, before we move on, this should be a shorter point, but in the concept of activity, it's like there's 3 types of ways you can have activity as far as posting. Okay. There is, your own content, which would be like a featured article, or like, hey, I did this, like, or I'm learning flows, or a screenshot of Trailhead of being like, I'm learning CPQ, like CPQ 101, like it's cool, like, and then like make that a post. So it's your own content that you're spinning up. Number 2 is reposting other people's stuff. So those 4 people at the end that I'm going to show you, it's like their content's wonderful for resharing or reposting, and then like put something at the top and say like, thank you, Jordan Nelson, for doing this, Great content as always, stuff like that. Stuff that's genuine though too. And then the third thing is industry facts. So you could say like Salesforce is now in this country and they're doing great things, or hey, like the philanthropy model of 111 is now doing this. It's industry facts. So those are your three types of posts to put in the activity. And obviously, like it's going to show and help the algorithms if you're doing that intentionally. Okay, let's move on. Point number 10 out of 16. The about section, personal, professional. You can take a third person perspective or a first person perspective. Let's look at mine right here. The about section, see more. Pump it down. Okay. Andrew's a Salesforce professional. So immediately it's like I'm taking third person perspective. It's kind of like I wanted to tell a story of me. Just if you're going to stay in third person, stay in third person. So Andrew's also a member of the professional development program, outside of his passion, Andrew. So my name is in here like 4 times. Okay, so you get it. But yeah, you want it to be geared towards Salesforce. Again, you're just screaming Salesforce. I'm Salesforce professional, hands-on experience with the Salesforce platform. This is a blurb. This 2/3 of this is like a blurb from Talent Stacker. They were like, helping people go from ground zero into the Salesforce ecosystem. But like a lot of it's like, take this template and then customize it and build it towards you. And then the highlight section, that's something that like I've just been progressively working on. So 1 year from now, it's going to look different, but I want to show it to you today. And, at the end, that's when you say outside of, his passion, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to let you read it later. Okay. About section. It's important. Please don't make it so that it's like, there's no breaks between it. Like I intentionally put like 2 return spaces here because it's like outside of the passion of Salesforce. Okay. It's like, so it implies the rest of this is about Salesforce, right? Okay. Got it. Career highlight section. Yeah. So things that you've done, you could say that I built a personal dev org, just spin one up. And then then you can say like, I'm working on a personal dev org. That's a guitar string company or a telecommunication company, or whatever. Or healthcare, like whatever you've been into or whatever your passion is, like spin up a dev org, change the theme and branding on it and then put it right here as a highlight in your about section. Okay. So, something personal at the end. Okay, we're moving on to number 11, experience. So there's a lot of thoughts on this, but I want to say do like the last 4 experiences or the last 10 years of experience. You don't want to have like a list of like 20 things. And for me personally, I'm happy to tell about it later, personal message me, whatnot. I'll make other content about my transformation from going like FedEx to this. And then before that, I was a lifeguard, machine operator, cleaning minister at my church, stuff like that. But for me personally, what I'm getting at is that like, I'm not going to build it out so that I have like 9 jobs. I'm not going to take you back to 2010. I'm taking you back to 2016 and that's it. So, these are the last 4 jobs. And in your experience, make it easy on the eyes. As I said before, like I have this color scheme, like these little blue diamonds, and it sits really well on the mobile app too. It's like, and I space them out intentionally. There's lots of thoughts on it. There's lots of other people that do a fantastic job. So reference them, dig in, get critical and look, not critical of them, but just look at it in a critical eye and say like, how do I want to adapt that? Do I like that? Does it sit well? Is it my personality? Does it fit with my page? So make it easy on the eyes and then make the most of recent experience geared towards Salesforce to show interest and commitment. Okay. So like, the most of your most recent experiences, you want to be like, yeah, I optimized this, or I led a team, or I organized this, or I was a project coordinator. It's like, make it Salesforce-y, highlight your experience and tailor the words towards Salesforce, so if you can use the word data or communicated, organized, end user, configured, customized, audited, it's like, those are things that we want to hear. Those are the things that hiring managers and all the people are thinking about. Okay. I think you get it. And there's a lot of different resources on experience stuff. Let's move right into education, straightforward. I think I'm just going to leave it. Yeah. And then what I said is now we have license certifications. Even this is like a LinkedIn course. I signed up for like, a 30-day trial and I took like 4 things and then canceled the membership. Yeah. So like a 101 on Python coding, and then like 2 things on Excel, and just like push through. And that way I could say like I did that. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. I use it all the time. And then volunteering. These things just look really good. I really wish my church would have an icon that would just sit so great. But even blood donor, like my parents have donated blood for years, and that's inspired me. And then I saw blood donor on someone else's LinkedIn. It might sound shallow, but I was just like, oh, like, well, yeah, I'll go donate blood, and then I'll become a regular donor and put that app on my phone and have my digital donor card and this and that. But now I can have it eligible on there. And it's like for volunteering, it's like these are credible, world-renowned things. It's like Boy Scouts of America and American Red Cross, right? Okay, we're moving on. Skills. You want to put, like, for me, I move these around after I landed my Salesforce job, but these top 3, it's editable, so you can move them around. So even though you have 14 skills, however many skills, it's like Salesforce Lightning, CRM, data management, like those type of skills. It's like those are the things that you'd like to see, and it's as easy as hitting endorse on your friends, and then they flip back and then they endorse you. Or you can even coach them up and say like, hey, it would really help me out if you could like hit endorse on these 5 things. So there's that. I think the next thing I want to talk about is recommendations. If you are working on a group project with Salesforce, those people should recommend you. Like at the end of the project or whatever, like your friends, each other, you've connected on LinkedIn, you've been on Skype calls and Google Meets and Teams messaging and all this other stuff and Slack. Like you've already been communicating, so it's like they can vouch for your character. And so don't downplay the concept of like the recommendations and think like, oh, once I get in for a year, then I'll get like a recommendation. It's like people can vouch for your communication, your integrity, your determination, your respectability, like your credibility, and like what's the other word for integrity? Your trustworthiness. Get them to just say those type of things, and it's a little ping pong. It's like you can ask for recommendation, they'll write one up, you'll proofread it, you can ping it back to them, be like, hey, can you reword this, or hey, this is spelled wrong, and then once it's approved, then it'll go onto your wall. And recommendations will help you. It'll vouch for your character. You're trying to get in the ecosystem, do it. So and given, it's like I've given more than I've received. But I think that like, yeah, just write up some practice, Google it. You can find other templates of like how to write them, and you want to, excuse me, always start off very strongly. Professionalism and communication skills are inspirational to me. I've known him for over 10 years. His blend of genuineness and professionalism is hard to match. Like you want to launch, it's like Salesforce needs more people like Casey, you know? So there's that. Let's move on. Causes at the bottom, awards and other things. Anything that, look around. If your company has given you like a 5-year dedication thing or employee of the year or whatever, it's like, put that on there, languages, it's like even things I'm trying to learn, I'm going to put it on there, and I lived in Cambodia with my wife for 8 months and did Christian ministry. It was awesome. And moving on, causes. This is a low-hanging fruit. I always say this when I encourage people and send them voice memos via LinkedIn and say like the causes is low-hanging fruit because it's a pre-populated list. All you got to do is say like, yeah, I believe in these 5 things, or I'm passionate about these 5 things. And I think that it's not optional on what the order comes through. It always seems like art and culture is at the beginning, but that's like a perfect end cap, because when you're looking at other people's, which we will in a minute, it's like usually it's like recommendations and then interests, and then it goes into like, oh, if you like this person, then here's recommendations for other people, or you should network with these people additionally, which is great that the algorithms do that, but causes is the end cap. I think that's our second to last point. The last point I wanted to make is that when you are done and you are feeling good about your LinkedIn, it's like you should have you should have a PDF file ready to give out to people and drop in the chat. This is my PDF file. I guess we're going to end in 10 seconds. So this is it. It has a hyperlink in it. That concludes everything. And God bless you. Reach out to me and take care. And God bless you all. And